Welcome to Manifest This, Believer versus Skeptic. I'm Sharon Giroux, your resident skeptic who asks all the tough questions. And with me is Jennifer Neal, our manifesting maestro. Whether you're rolling your eyes or raising your vibration, we dive into all things manifestation, mindset, and energy from every side. Hit subscribe, settle in, and get ready for spirited debates, surprising experiments, and laughter on the journey to creating a life you love.
Today it's just me. Sharon is away on holiday on one of her most fabulous cruises that she manifests over and over again. But while the cat is away, I'm going to play by myself. And when Sharon's away, and I do miss her, she'll be back in a few weeks, I get to be the full believer without being challenged by my resident skeptic. So let's talk about this today. I want to talk about the manifestation you want being bigger than your field of vision. This is currently a topic that is blowing up on TikTok, and so I thought we would take a minute to bring it over to the podcast because I can do a little bit of a longer rant about it. Here's the idea. What you currently believe is possible for your life is often very limited by what you can currently see. So I want you to think about actual eyesight for a moment. You can see directly what is in front of you. You can see a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right and a little bit up and a little bit down by nodding. You can see somewhat peripheral movement. But beyond that, there's an entire world existing outside your field of vision at all times. Right now, as you listen to this, I want you to think about this, that there are possible conversations happening that could impact your future, but you are not in those rooms. People are meeting each other that may eventually lead to you. Opportunities are forming, ideas being born, jobs are opening, relationships are ending. There are husbands leaving wives. There are wives leaving husbands. There are girlfriends leaving boyfriends and vice versa. There are girlfriends leaving girlfriends. Companies are pivoting, they're merging, they're acquiring. These are making changes in the working world. Homes are going on the market that were not expected. Houses are being bought and sold that are coming up every second of every day. The real estate market is constantly in flow. Investments are constantly in flow. Stocks are going up. Stocks are going down. People are thinking about you when you're not in the room. Doors are opening. But you're unaware of almost all of that movement. But somehow, when it comes to manifestation, we tend to believe that if we can't currently see the path, there must not be a path. We look at our current bank account. We look at our current relationship status. We look at our current body, our current age, our current job or career. We look at our current resources. And then we quietly decide, well, based on what I can currently see, this probably isn't going to happen for me. And I think this is where so many people accidentally stop miracles from entering their lives, because they only believe in what their current circumstances can explain. But manifestation has never operated through your current circumstances. It operates through possibility. And possibility exists far beyond your eyesight. I told this story a couple of episodes ago, but I'm going to tell it again. I recently, in the past 2 months, was looking for my wedding dress. I am getting married again. It's a very joyful time in my life. And the dress that I have zeroed in on and really want has, as it turns out, been discontinued since 2007. Out of production, gone, completely impossible to get. And logically, it made no sense to still want it, especially because I wanted this very specific dress. It's a very specific designer. It's a very specific style. And if I had only relied on what I could physically see in front of me, I would have concluded very quickly that this is not available anymore and therefore I can't have it. But I know better than that. So instead, I became obsessed with the feeling of wearing that dress. I pinned it on Pinterest over and over and over again. I zoomed in on the details. I looked at it over and over and over again. Not from desperation, but from obsession and connection and the burning desire to have that dress. And then the strangest thing happened to me. Ideas started appearing in my mind. One idea was to call an old friend of mine that actually owned 2 bridal stores in Toronto. When I reached her, she said she was no longer in the business, but I should call her seamstress that does all the alterations for the store. Maybe this woman could make the dress for me. I called the seamstress. She said, I can make the dress, but it will be awfully expensive. Why don't you try to find one that's too big for you, and I will fit it exactly to you. That thought had never even crossed my mind. And then suddenly, I went online. I searched up the dress. I searched up a larger size, and suddenly a larger size appeared. Not only did a larger size appear, but it just happened to be for sale from an Ontario seller. I live in Ontario. When I inquired about the delivery of this dress, thinking that she would probably only want to deliver within the United States, which also, listen, this always happens to Canadians. No, she was an Ontario resident. She could only ship within Ontario. So 3 days later, I was sitting at my house, and all of a sudden this dress arrived. Now here's the important part. I could never have mapped out that path myself. Call my friend. She's going to give me the name of a seamstress. The seamstress is going to suggest a larger size. I'm then going to go online and search for that larger size. The larger size is going to appear. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, the larger size was improperly posted, was not a size 16, it was a size 14. I knew it would be the perfect dress for me. I could never have mapped out that path myself. Never. I could not have strategized that delivery method to me ever that way. The route existed outside of my current field of vision. One thing led to another, and that's exactly how manifestation works most of the time. The universe sees routes that you can't see, connections that you can't see, people that you can't see, openings that you can't see. I like to call her she, Ms. Universe, she has access to every moving part simultaneously. Whereas we as humans tend to stand in one tiny little spot in our lives and we say things like, well, I don't know how this is going to happen because of my bank account or because of the test results or because of my age. Of course you can't see it. You're not supposed to see the path of what Ms. Universe is going to be able to perform for you. That's the entire point. If you could already see the root, it wouldn't require any faith at all. And listen, I'm not saying you sit on the couch and you do nothing. Manifestation is not passive. But I do think we spend way too much time trying to force the middle. We try to predict the exact route. We try to micromanage Ms. Universe. We try to control the timing, control the people, control the outcomes, control the methods. And sometimes the very control we're gripping onto is the exact thing that is blocking us from seeing the bigger possibility. Because we've already decided in our head how this has to happen. It has to happen through this person. It has to happen through this company. It has to be this opportunity. It has to be this boyfriend I marry. It has to be this exact amount of money I need. It has to happen on this exact timeline. And meanwhile, Ms. Universe is over there saying, I actually had something much bigger in mind for you, but you keep staring at this closed door. I think about this a lot when people say, well, I don't see how I could ever make more money, or I don't see how I will ever meet someone at this age, or I don't see how my life could ever change now. But your inability to currently see the path does not mean that the path does not exist. I need you to get this into your little brain. It simply means that you don't currently have access to the full picture. And honestly, thank goodness you don't. Because if manifestation depended entirely on your own imagination, most of us would accidentally limit ourselves to lives much smaller than what's actually available to us. We underestimate what's possible constantly. We think from our current identity, our current conditioning, our current evidence, our current bank accounts, but manifestations often arrive through routes that we never, ever would have ever thought to pursue. A random conversation, a delayed flight, a podcast, a stranger, a DM, yes, even a job loss, a move, a rejection, a coincidence that wasn't really a coincidence after all. And later we look back and we realize, oh my gosh, that thing I thought was ruining my life was actually rerouting my life. That relationship ending, that was the best thing that ever happened, because then I met my now husband. That opportunity falling apart was actually bringing me my next dream car. That delay that I actually thought was bad news was creating the space for my next massive job win to come into my life. And the confusion that I felt surrounding that situation brought me clarity about being a better parent. These are my examples, but you get the point. It may have simply been moving you towards a route that you could not see. And that is why protecting your energy matters so much. Because when you stay stuck in hopelessness and despair and shame and guilt and fear, you stop expecting unseen opportunities. You unconsciously close yourself off to surprise. You stop looking. You stop listening. You stop following nudges. You even stop believing that anything bigger could ever happen. But manifestation requires openness, not certainty. Just openness, a willingness to believe that maybe, just maybe, there could be possibilities available to me that I cannot currently see. And that one sentence alone changes everything. So write that sentence down. There may be possibilities available to me that I cannot currently see. Next time you're doubting, I want you to say to yourself, there may be possibilities available to me that I cannot currently see. Some of the biggest manifestations in my own life arrived completely unexpectedly and sideways. Not through the route I expected, not through the people I expected, not through the timeline I expected, but better, so much better. And I think sometimes that's why manifestations feel shocking when they finally arrive. Not just because we received the thing and were blown away, but because the route was so unimaginable to us. Ms. Universe has access to information that you don't. Miss Universe has access to information that you don't. And maybe that's where peace comes in. You don't need to know every step. You don't need to force every answer. You don't need to panic just because you cannot currently see movement. Because the movement may already be happening beyond your radar, beyond your eyesight, beyond what you can fathom. So if you remember just one thing from today's episode, let it be this. And write this down. Just because I cannot currently see it does not mean it is not available to me. In fact, it may already be making its way toward me right now. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you found some value in this. If you did, leave a comment. I'd love to know what you're up to, whether or not this helps you. And we will be looking forward to Sharon coming back to join us in a few weeks. Sharon will be coming back to join us in a few weeks. I'm sure she'll have something to say about this and give me a piece of her mind. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on Manifest This, Believer versus Skeptic.
Thanks for tuning in to Manifest This, Believer versus Skeptic. If you enjoyed today's conversation, share it with a friend, believer or skeptic. And don't forget to leave us a review so others can join in the debate. Plus, check out Jennifer's TikTok account, Manifestation RX, where she writes daily prescriptions for manifesting your dreams. Think practical tips with a dash of magic. We love hearing your questions and stories, so tell us what you're manifesting or questioning this week. Until next time, keep an open mind and maybe manifest a little magic.